Perachuri from Tennessee State University in the Department of Economics and Finance. And of course, Dr. Perachuri talked earlier about some of the issues dealing with regulation. And of course, Dr. Perachuri, what we'd like to do now is to look at the Congressional bailout bill itself, how we were able to come to a situation of passing a bill for $700 trillion as a bailout package.
Yeah, $700 billion.
$700 billion.
Yeah, and it may go up to close to $1.5 trillion of dollars. That means $1,500 billions of dollars.
It's almost inconceivable.
Yeah, it is inconceivable, but we have to do something like this. Otherwise, the economy is in a real sad shape. The unemployment has been going up and up. And on top of that, people are losing confidence in the banking system, which is the most crucial for our economic survival. And once the people lose confidence in the banks, we all, our parents and grandparents have gone through this run on the banks in 1930s and struggling hard for survival. This present situation has reminded me of the early 30s, what not only this nation has suffered, but also the rest of the world.
Global situation.
Global situation. It was really sad. But thank heavens, right now, Treasury Secretary Paulson, Henry Paulson, and Ben Bernanke was the chairman of the Fed, Federal Reserve System, that is, and of course the FDIC chairman Sheila Bair, who has also helped improving the confidence level of the people by increasing the $100,000 guarantee or insurance for each account has been raised to $250,000, which again would create a little bit more confidence in the banking system as a whole. And especially when you look at this $700 billion package, which I think is very not enough to solve the problem, but at least it will have a band-aid kind of treatment, I still think. Even though it is being endorsed by both Senator Obama and Senator McCain, there were also some differences, and Senator Obama, for example, says he wants to go back a little farther than the $700 billion by making sure that every person who owns a home is not going to be thrown out. And he wants to give an assurance to the people to make sure that these people are protected against anybody going out of their own houses. Okay, in the first place, we should blame the banking system, and other financial institutions who have made these toxic loans. And it is the taxpayers who are going to pay the heavy burden on this. However, the present plan has a very unique situation. This is not just the taxpayers bailing them out. It is it's like an investment, the way it is structured. Secretary Paulson and Bernanke and Ms. Bair, they have done a fantastic job in coming up with the package along with the congressional leaders.
Okay.
And this is more important. It has to get their approval first, and then, and they were able to convince them, and this is really very, very good. Again, like I said, the package may be increased to up to $1.5 trillion of dollars. That's my estimate.
So you don't believe that what has happened now is really, there's really enough money in here to do what they would like to do on this first go around?
Yeah, they would like to do a lot more, but yes, but first round it's all right. Now, in the same context, the Congress, Ms. Pelosi, who is the leader of the Democratic Party, who has come up with the idea of putting another $300 billion as another relief package for you and I.
That's outside of the...
outside of the $700 billion. Now, out of the $700 billion, $250 billion is going to be allotted mainly to improve the confidence of the banking system. What the Secretary Paulson and the chairman of the Fed, Bernanke and Baer, what they have said, they brought all these bankers, 9 bankers, in alphabetical order, told them to come into the place, into the conference room, and they passed a sheet of paper saying everybody should sign this. In that agreement, what they said was, make sure that you are going to let the government put some money in there in exchange for preferred shares in your companies. Even though a couple of banks do not need that, still they insisted that they also take it so that they don't come around with a begging bowl again later on. So they want to make sure, Secretary Paulson and Bernanke and Baer, they all wanted to make sure that they do not have to go back again and request the congressional leaders and all. So this $250 billion, out of that, these 9 banks will get $125 billion in exchange for their preferred stock with a 5% interest which they have to pay to Uncle Sam, plus it may go up to 9%.
And so this is sort of viewed as a method of saving the taxpayers and making sure that the taxpayers have an opportunity to get something back from this.
Yes.
But now, Dr. Parachuri, when you think in terms of these 9 banks, and you remember that in a real sense, it was the banking situation that was the most critical in terms of this whole situation. What can convince us that these banks are willing to turn that money over? Because there's a tendency on the part of banks to sort of hold money.
You're absolutely correct. I had the same doubts because when a small businessman goes to the bank and say that he needs a short-term loan, they are not getting it. And this present process, it will take time. Let's not have misunderstanding about it. You know, it's not an instant fix. It will take time by the time, and the bankers have to release those funds. And they are releasing slowly.
Okay. And of course, we're going to take a second break and then we'll come back. But it does seem to me that unless these banks release this money, then there can be no public confidence in reference to it.
Not at all, and the economy will be in again the same sagging position as they have been.
And of course, we'll pick this up after our second commercial break, and we'll be back with our audience following this very, very short commercial break.
Okay.
The topic is the